What's the worst that could happen?
Greetings, friends. It's Josh,
And I'm Ryan.
and we are coming to you today live. Okay, not live, but we have new recording equipment, and hopefully this works out.
Yeah. It's 8 episodes in, and we got some professional-looking equipment in front of us.
Professional looking. That's the key. Professional looking.
Look good, feel good.
Yeah, we'll see if it's professional sounding or not. So anyway, Ryan, I have another fun adventure in my life.
Good.
So a couple of episodes ago, I guess it was like the first episode we did. I did my life as a side quest.
As a side quest, yes.
Yeah. So I had another experience in the area of my life as a video game.
All right, you teased me before we started recording.
Yeah.
So now I'm ready to hear it.
So this is my life as a non-playable character, or NPC,
Ooh.
as the cool kids call them.
My life as an NPC. All right.
Yeah. So you know how in video games you'll have that one character that like comes back around all the time and needs your help?
Oh, yes.
Like just constantly like, hey, Mr. Hero, help me with this issue. So a couple weeks ago, the church that I volunteer at flooded.
Yes. I remember you telling me about that.
And so I had to call a bunch of people and be like, hey, can I borrow a shop vac? we need some help to get this cleaned up. And so then the next night I had a youth leaders meeting. I'll go to this meeting and my car starts to die on my way.
I see why you told me now that I knew this story.
Yeah. So my car dies on my way to this youth leaders meeting, and so like I get it jumped, start going back, and it like my power steering is gone. Like everything is just absolutely awful about this whole situation, and like I start driving home, dies again. I had to call someone else to come and help me, and then bought a new battery, put it in there.
Yep.
That got me home and got me to work the next day. And then I had to call you and be like, hey, I'm got to get this into the shop and I need someone to follow me to the shop. And, but as I'm going through this, I'm like, I am becoming that character.
You are the NPC.
So
that keeps needing rescue.
That I need rescue from all the different people. So my car battery was dead. Oh, actually, the church flooded. My kids were sick at the same time, too. Both of them were sick.
Yep.
And so it was like, just felt like one of those things. Oh, and then on top of that, my grass needed mowed.
Again?
So, again, yeah.
Because it does that?
That seems to keep coming up on this podcast, how Josh needs to get his grass mowed. That's because I don't do it enough. But so like the Saturday before the church flooded, we had a youth event that I had to do, and so I started cutting my grass, but then like I didn't get to finish it, and then I was like, well, I'll finish it on Monday, but my car battery died and my alternator had actually gone out, and that was the actual issue, was the alternator was dead. So I did not have a chance to get the alternator. It was just a complete mess. So I am an NPC and I need your help, Mr. Hero.
You are the NPC that keeps needing saved. So because I do know this story, something, at least to me, something really funny happened when we got to the mechanic. And I don't know if you want to share that or not. So if not, that's fine. But to me, it was really funny. So
no, go ahead. You share it.
Okay, so essentially we get there, and the problem is your alternator is just shot. It's not charging your car battery at all. And you actually knew that before you got there. You kind of informed them. They said they said something to the effect of, if that's the problem, do you want us to fix it?
Yes.
And to me, I found this hilarious because like, what do you say to that?
Yeah, no,
I didn't know that was like an option or a multiple choice thing. Like, yes, that's why I'm here. Fix my car, please.
Yeah, no, I did not remember that until just now. I was like, well, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like you said, there's really no option. It's like,
No, just leave my car here dead forever?
I'll just let you have my car, and I'll buy a new one.
What
like,
do you do with that?
Am I gonna spend $1,500 to get the alternator replaced, or
nope? You're just gonna buy.
Am I gonna buy a new car? I think I'll take the $1,500.
Yes, please fix my car.
Please fix my car. So, yeah, my life is an NPC.
I love it.
My life is a video game. I'm thinking that like someone should make that into a TV show. Like, My Life is a Video Game should be a TV show, and like you have like these constant recurring characters like that. I think
now that we just put it out there, do we technically own the rights to it? So if someone does that, do we get some sort of royalty, or how does that work?
If we can prove that they stole the idea from us, then it is in fact copyright infringement. So
yeah.
We would have to be able to prove that in a court of law, though.
Pesky.
I think
pesky evidence.
So I don't know how much proof a podcast that like 20 people are listening to is.
Hey.
So now, if it becomes bigger and like if we have like 1,000 listeners at some point,
there we go.
Then maybe
when it becomes bigger.
When it becomes bigger. When we have like 10,000 people who tune in every week.
Yes.
Dream big, people. Dream big.
So your life as an NPC.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's good.
I was thinking of something else too, because you mentioned how the theme of mowing your grass keeps coming up.
Yeah.
You know how they have these really, I don't want to say stupid, but I'm going to say really stupid simulation games like Goat Simulator, Farming Simulator. Although that one's not stupid, I like the idea of that one. But the Goat Simulator, I think there's one called Bee Simulator. Is there a lawnmower simulator? Like where you can just simulate mowing your grass?
That's another $1 million idea that we've just put out there on the internet.
Twice. That's two. That's two ideas.
We've got two of them now. So I don't know, man. I think that I think Goat Simulator might as well be grass.
That's true. That's true. That's like Farming Simulator and Lawn Mowing Simulator put together.
That game is actually really fun. So
I haven't played it. I watched my father-in-law play it a few times, and I laughed. I did laugh. It was pretty.
It's a very funny game. So there's another free one for you guys.
Boom! That wasn't even scheduled.
It's not even on
freebie.
Yeah. I haven't played it a whole lot, but I think I played like a demo of it somewhere. So, yeah. So my kids are sick. My grass needs mowing. My car's dead. My church is flooded. Mr. Hero save me.
Mr. Hero save me. You ever have an NPC? I was sitting here thinking this too. A lot of times those NPCs can be annoying, like, oh, here comes this person again. But occasionally there's some that are cool. You ever have that?
Maybe. I don't know. The only, like right now, the only person I can think of, like, as we're talking about NPCs is Tingle from Majora's Mask, Legend of Zelda, like, and who becomes a recurring character in other Zeldas, who I just absolutely despise as a character. So, yeah, no, I can't think of a character that like is recurring.
I'm thinking of one right now. If you ever play Elder Scrolls Online, there's a character on there named Gibbons, and he's like this recurring NPC that's constantly needing your help. But he's an awesome character. He's funny. The situations he gets himself into are ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. Normally they're not fun, but that one's a fun NPC that, he's a good one.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like other NPCs that are like, I feel like there are some that I've like wanted to like, or that I have just like killed in certain games. Like, no, I'm done with you.
I'm over it.
So, I don't know. Moving right along. So, should we go ahead and get into our games?
Sure. Why not?
Let's go. Who's going first?
I was going to ask you who's going first.
You're going first. Go for it.
I'm going first.
Go.
Oh, boy.
Action.
Okay. That's good, because in a way I kind of feel I need to get this over with, because I'm doing something that not that I don't want to do, but that I hesitate to do. So for the most part, the games we've discussed are not the AAA big titles like the Marios, the Zeldas, etc., Call of Duty. But this time I'm going to do that just because I really enjoyed the game, and I think other people should play it.
Sure.
But I did hesitate to bring this one up because it's also going to show a little bit of my true nerd side, going all the way back to when I was in middle school.
Okay.
So the game that I'm going to talk about today is Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Okay.
And I just can't believe I'm talking about it because I started playing Pokemon in the 6th grade. I don't know when, but somewhere around 9th or 10th grade, I thought that was lame and dorky and I'm not going to play it anymore. And now here I am at 35 years old talking about Pokemon.
So yeah, to interrupt, Pokemon is another one of those series that I could not get into.
I know.
It was not my cup of tea.
But
So,
you should.
That's if you say so. I don't. There are some games that you might convince me to play. I don't believe.
But you don't think it's gonna be that? I don't think
it's gonna be Pokemon.
It's not gonna be Pokemon.
It's just me.
Yeah, Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is as of right now the most recent. Although there's 3 more coming out within the next couple of months. So,
how does Nintendo keep making money? I just don't understand.
How do they do that? 2 of the 3 are remakes too of old ones. Which will absolutely sell out immediately. So that's how they keep making money.
Yes.
I really enjoyed the game a lot. I might go so far as saying it's my favorite in the series.
Wow.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. One of the things we always talk about is family friendly, right? So because we've got kids who are often looking over our shoulder, and this one is good for that. My son loves it as well. He likes to play on his profile. This one introduces a mechanic to the series that is new for the series, and that is there's parts of it that are completely just open world. There's no linear aspect to it, just free roam. But that also introduced sort of a negative about the game, if you will.
Okay.
So there's this mechanic in this part of the world. It's called the... oh gosh, now I can't remember the name of it. That's bad. There's this open world part of the game, and while you're there, you can do these den fights where you go into Pokemon dens and fight them in their dens. And if you defeat them, you get all these like experience candies. So basically, you can immediately power level your character.
Okay.
Power level your Pokemon. So you kind of can very early on break the game to where you're way overpowered and overleveled compared to everything else. So that was kind of unfortunate because then I just like blasted my way through the rest of the game, one-shotting everything. But I'm probably being biased in that the reason this one is my favorite is because of the open world aspect of it.
Sure.
So the thing I don't like is also the thing I like, so, figure that out.
Absolutely.
It can be finished very quickly, though, which is another thing we kind of look for when we talk about some of these games, because if you're a dead tired dad or a dead tired mom and you don't have a ton of time to play a game, this one can be finished very quickly if you want
very quickly and be done with it, and you feel like you've accomplished something.
Yeah, you beat an entire Pokemon game. You see a few cool fight scenes, and it's the end. I also did something else in this game that I've never done in a Pokemon game before, and maybe that's the real deep hidden reason why I wanted to talk about it. I completed the entire Pokédex.
Wow. Congratulations.
Which for this game is 400 Pokemon.
So I know enough about Pokemon to know that I think that means that you collected every single Pokemon that's available in the game.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, congratulations. That's a huge feat.
It is, but again, it also makes me feel like a super nerd.
Well, it's the first time you've done it, and you're 35.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
I mean...
Does that make it better or worse, though?
Well, on the one hand, you waited until you're 35 to do it. On the other hand, you haven't done it.
Yeah.
And so...
So, yes. better and worse.
It's both and.
It's both and.
Both and. I'm gonna give that a strong, solid both and.
I would say overall, I would recommend this game because it's family friendly, can be played with your kids, it's quick. The only downside is, like with just about everything Nintendo, that price is never dropping.
Nope.
Ever. Nope. So
you will be paying $60 for that.
You're going to pay $60 for it, and if
Pokemon
Pokemon's not already your thing, sorry, but you're never getting it for any less.
10 years from now, you will still pay
$60.
$60 for
it will
game.
absolutely still be $60.
And if you don't pay $60 for it, you will be paying more
than
$60
because
for
you
it.
can't find it, and it's a collector's item.
So you might as well buy it now while it's $60.
Yeah. And even though there's 3 new ones coming out, it will still be $60.
Yeah. So my experience with owning Pokemon games,
yes.
This is my Pokemon story. I don't buy Pokemon games because I don't play them.
You don't. That's true.
I have, I'm a retro game collector, which has come up a couple times, I think, on here. So I do have some Nintendo DSs that I've bought.
Yes.
I've
seen them.
I bought a 3DS from someone off of Facebook Marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was just looking for a 3DS, so there were a couple of games that I wanted to play. And so I bought this 3DS, and what game happens to be in it? Pokemon Black.
Oh, yes.
Great for me. I could sell that game right now for like $60.
And they sold it to you.
And I bought the 3DS for $50.
Yeah. So they weren't trying to sell you like a bundle.
No.
They were trying to sell you the DS.
Yeah. And it
Merry Christmas.
It happened to have Pokemon Black in it. So
perfect.
that's part 1 of my Pokemon story.
Part 1.
Yeah. So part 2, I go into Goodwill, and I'm looking, just kind of wandering around, and I happen to see there's an older model DS. So it's not a 3DS, it's a regular, just DS. And so it's got a sticker marked on it, slapped on it for like, I think it was like $750. It was like,
how do you pass it up?
I can't pass up a game console for $750.
No.
So of course I buy it. I get it home. What happens to be in the slot?
No.
But Pokemon Black.
No.
So I have 2 copies of Pokemon Black.
Amazing.
So that's my
You lucked in. So wait a minute. Let's do the math here. 2 Nintendo DSs and 2 copies of Pokemon Black for $57.50.
something like that, yeah.
Jeez.
I think that's a net gain.
That's absolutely a net. Now wait a minute. I have another question. You have 2 copies of it.
Yes.
You're never gonna play. Well, you probably are never gonna play it.
Right.
I understand holding on to 1 because the collector aspect.
Sure.
Of it. Why not sell 1?
I have every intention
and use that to buy other video games.
I have every intention to. I just haven't yet.
I mean, at this rate, you might as well sell one of them and go buy more DSs because you're probably going to find Pokemon Black in them.
Well, maybe I'll find Pokemon. Is it Pearl? Pokemon Pearl, I think was the one that goes along with that one.
Yeah, I can't remember.
So, see, I know more about Pokemon than you would think. But no, I don't know. I just got lucky.
I love it.
And so yeah, that's my Pokemon story. So
man, see, when I can't call myself a retro game collector. I want to be, but I'm not as dedicated as you.
Well, I got started when I was in high school, so
that's pretty good. Yeah, I got started after meeting you, so.
So that's one of those things where it's like I started in high school and I did it for a little bit, and then I quit because I was in college, and then I didn't have any money, and then I got married and I didn't have any money.
Yep.
And then
you had kids.
And I didn't have any money.
And you didn't have any money.
And then my wife was like, then we bought a house, and I definitely didn't have any money.
Then you didn't have any money.
But I had a place to store my stuff, and my wife was like, "Hey, this is cool. We should get more of this."
Boom.
And I was like, "Are you giving me permission?"
It sounds like it to me.
And she was like, "Kind of." And so then I spent a lot of money that I shouldn't have.
Yep.
And so now I just kind of find things when I can.
See, my experience is when I go to look for retro game systems or retro games, I'll find a Game Boy, but it doesn't have Pokemon in it. It's like missing the battery cover. That's my bonus find. Is I find things that are incomplete, not extra bundles that aren't expected.
Well, even those things are great because you can still, like, if you can find them for cheap, like, people, because they're missing those things, like, people will give them away for cheap, and then you can find, like, replacement parts pretty easily. But, I found, we've talked about the Nomad on here before, I know. I got my Sega Nomad for $10 at a yard sale.
Boom. Again, how do you pass it up?
Yeah. I didn't even know what it was at the time because I was in high school. And I had never heard of it. And I was like, whoa. Anyway, we're like straying way off topic.
Way off.
So that's some more bonus content for you guys.
Free content.
Free content. Like all of this. Look at that.
So, to bring it back, Pokemon Sword and Shield, I enjoyed it. I would recommend it because it fits with the busy parent lifestyle.
Yeah.
Other than, like I said, you're going to pay that Nintendo price tag.
Always with the Nintendo price tag.
What about you, Josh? What do you got for us?
So I have a game that is... So this is from a franchise that I actually really like. So I'm also going from a franchise. And a little bit more of a... Kind of a big name thing, but it's still kind of an underground... I feel like a lot of people... Like, it's not like a super popular franchise anymore. But Burnout Paradise.
Ah, yeah.
In the remastered version, I guess. So I really like the Burnout series because it takes racing games and it doesn't it takes racing as a game and doesn't take itself seriously. Kind of like the Cruisin' USA kind of thing where it's just like this is just like amazing fun. Except it's a little bit more realistic than that and but you cause people to wreck and you do you have these things, but so Burnout Paradise is kind of in the same vein as other Burnout games. The biggest thing, again, this is an interesting thing, that it was one thing and then they kind of took a couple things and they changed it. So they made it, it used to be you would just kind of select from a list of courses and tracks and stuff like that, and you played all these different events. Well, with Paradise, they made it kind of an open world racing game, so you just drive around the city constantly, more like what was the Need for Speed, where it's you just kind of drive around and there's an intersection, there's a race here. So overall it's it's kind of fun. There are certain things about it that really aggravate me.
I remember you saying that a while back.
So one of my very favorite things about Burnout were the crash events, where you just kind of you get to this it has this thing, you're at an intersection, you blast your car in and try to cause as much damage as you possibly can. Yeah. And
why not?
It gives you a cash, if you you blow up a tanker and do all these kinds of things, it gives you a grand total of how much damage you caused, and it's just so much fun to just it's just a lot of fun. It's fun to see, fun to watch, fun to
of course
figure out how much catastrophe
you gotta have crashing in a racing game. I mean, it's got to be part of it.
But they're as far as I can tell, I haven't spent hours, hundreds of hours in the game, but they don't have anything like that in this one. And it very much disappointed me. Yeah, that they got rid of those. I don't really like the open world aspect of it. It kind of irks me.
All right, tell us why.
I just want to be able to pick I want to do this race. I want to do I don't want to drive around the city trying to find different races and things like that. If I want to do if I want to just play one race, I want to sit down and play one race.
Boom.
But
select.
So overall, not a bad game. As far as obviously it's racing. There's not really any kind of so family friendly. Yes, definitely not a
You don't have to pay attention to a story, right, or remember what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
No. You're crashing vehicles, but other than that, there's no nothing to be concerned about for your kids seeing you do it. Right. And it's there might be music, some of the songs and stuff. That's another thing. every single time you turn the game on, it starts off with the song Paradise City. Like every single time.
I wish the listeners could see your face.
I hate that song.
Your face told the story.
I hate that song so much. And so, like, you turn the game on, and I'm just like, I like just have to mute it,
right away
until the game comes up, like the rest of the way, because while it's loading, that song is playing, and it's just aggravating. It's like, who thought this?
So it's not even like part of a track that alternates. It's the same song every time.
Every time you turn the game on, as the game is loading. Like when you turn it on at first, it plays that song. But there are some cool aspects to it. You know, you can have you can do a motorcycle, and there are like different places in the city that like you get these picture opportunities and things like that. It's really cool. There are some cool things to it about the open world and things like that. But you know, as far as time to play, you can sit down and play for 15, 20 minutes. It's a really easy game to just kind of jump into, jump out of. And you unlock cars and stuff like that. So it's a fun game overall, and you can get it for relatively cheap. I think I paid $30 for mine a couple years ago. For the PS4.
You can probably find it.
You can probably get it for cheaper now.
Yeah.
So overall, if you're into racing games at all, I would say, go for it. If you're a fan of the Burnout franchise in particular, though. Buyer beware.
You may be a little let down.
Yeah, because that was what I went in expecting. Classic Burnout, and that's not what I got. And
not your typical Burnout.
Part of that's my fault because I did not do any research on it before I bought it. So you win some, you lose some. It was one of those things where it's like, oh, Burnout. I know what Burnout is.
Yeah.
I had this assumption in my head.
Right.
Like, oh, this is Burnout. This is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it was not that.
It was not.
So yeah, if you're a fan of the franchise and you're a fan of kind of racing games, that don't take themselves too seriously, because that's really one of my problems with like a lot of racing games.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan. Like in general, I don't like racing games.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of them take themselves too seriously.
Right.
But the Burnout games always felt like a lot of fun to me.
I'd agree with that.
So, yeah, I give it a probably good for you to buy.
Yeah.
If you like that kind of stuff. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Anything else for the good of the whole, Ryan?
Well, this is totally unrelated, but I am leaving today to go on a 3-day hiking, backpacking, camping, hunting, all of the above trip.
Nice.
So, something else that I geek out about, the great outdoors, wilderness. So, yeah, I'll be gone. I'll be outside, living in a tent.
You have fun with that.
Not Josh's cup of tea.
No, no. We were running kind of long here, so I don't want to get into it too much. But I've done my fair share of stuff like that. I got lost at a campground when I was little.
That'll ruin it real quick.
It wasn't like it was like in the middle of nowhere, but I was like 5, and it didn't turn me off from camping and anything like that. But anyway, so yeah, that's this episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast. Tune in next time for more. Whatever this is, video game chatting and talking about
all of the above
life as parents, and cool. Thank you guys. If you like this episode, please subscribe and do the things that the kids are doing to podcast these days, whatever that is.
Like, share, follow, whatever it is.
Rating us is extremely helpful. If you could give us some good reviews, we enjoy those. So thanks a lot. We'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.